If you've ever met someone who speaks softly but somehow changes your entire week with one conversation, there's a good chance you just brushed past an INFJ. They're called rare for a reason, but rarity alone isn't the magic. The real power is hidden in a set of abilities so subtle, most INFJs don't even notice they're using them. Today we're pulling back the curtain on 12 gifts that make INFJs unforgettable, even when they feel invisible. If you're an INFJ, you'll finally have language for the things you've been doing your whole life. And if you love an INFJ, you'll understand why being close to them can feel like standing next to a quiet lighthouse. Soft light, steady guidance, life-saving timing. Ready? Let's get into it. First, a quick promise. I'm not going to romanticize struggle or toss out vague compliments. We're going to name these gifts, explore how they actually show up, and talk honestly about the hidden costs. Because every superpower has a tax. The goal here isn't to make INFJs more of something. It's to help them recognize what's already there so they can use it on purpose, with less burnout and more joy. Gift number 1. The silent pattern engine. Most people see moments. INFJs see motion. While others focus on what's loudest, INFJs watch how small signals repeat. The phrase a coworker hides behind, the pause a friend inserts before saying, "I'm fine," the way a team brightens around one person and dims around another. Alone, these look like trivia. Together, they form a map. That's the INFJ engine, quietly gathering data, connecting dots, and projecting the likely outcome. To outsiders, it can look mystical. To an INFJ, it feels obvious, almost boring. Here's the catch: constantly running patterns can be exhausting. If you're an INFJ, give yourself clean hours where you consume nothing, no podcasts, no messages, just stillness. A quiet engine lasts longer. Gift number 2. Teaching by story, not control. INFJs don't push you down a path. They open a door and let you choose it. Advice from an INFJ rarely starts with, "Do this." It arrives as a story, a picture, a question that gently rearranges your perspective until the answer feels like yours. That's why their words stick. We remember what we discover on our own. The cost? Because it looks effortless, INFJs forget it's skilled labor. Building the right story at the right time takes empathy, timing, and courage. If you give this gift, honor it. You're not just talking. You're lighting a path someone else can walk without shame. Gift number 3. Emotional echolocation. Think of this like sonar for feelings. INFJs hear the emotion under the sentence. They notice the breath that comes half a second late, the laugh that lands slightly off-key. They don't just register the behavior, they feel the pressure underneath it. That's why strangers tell them secrets and say, "I don't know why I told you that." Here's the uncomfortable side. Absorbing that much feeling comes with weight. If you're an INFJ, build daily rituals that dump what isn't yours. Walk alone, write it out, pray, breathe, move. Whatever helps you say, "This is mine." That is not. Gift number 4. Future sketching in high definition. Daydreaming isn't an escape for INFJs, it's a lab. In their mind, they test conversations, consequences, and routes. They don't merely imagine what could happen, they run it forward until it reveals where it breaks. That's why INFJs often seem prepared without looking like they tried. It's not luck. It's rehearsal. The frustration? Reality rarely matches the crisp version that lived in their head. So INFJs can feel let down by perfectly good outcomes. The practice here is gratitude for the messy, living version. Let the real world be grainy. That's where laughter is anyway. Gift number 5. Pain alchemy. When difficult things happen, many people try to outrun them. INFJs tend to turn and face them. They ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" Then they convert the lesson into something useful for others, a boundary, a story, a warning, a blessing. This is why so many INFJs are drawn to healing roles, creative work, or advocacy. They don't just bounce back, they build forward. The risk is thinking you have to suffer to create. You don't. You can learn from joy too. You're allowed to grow from ease. Gift number 6. Making people feel deeply seen. There's a special hush that happens when an INFJ really looks at you. Not because they're judging, but because they're present. In a world that's skimming, that kind of attention is rare, almost addictive. People drop their armor. They tell the truth. They remember the conversation years later. Here's the boundary lesson. Being a mirror for everyone else can blur your own outline. If you're an INFJ, schedule conversations with people who see you back. Not just listen, but reflect, challenge, and delight in you in return. Gift number 7. The paradox of quiet impact. An INFJ can sit through an entire meeting without saying much and still shift the direction of the decision. They ask one precise question that punctures the balloon of confusion, and suddenly everyone breathes. During the moment, they're easy to overlook. Weeks later, their sentence becomes the group's standard. That's the paradox, invisible in real time, unforgettable in the long run. If you're an INFJ, keep a record of your small interventions. Not for ego, but to calibrate self-trust. You contribute more than your mind gives you credit for. Gift number 8. Compassionate distance. People assume INFJs say yes to everything because they're kind. The truth is more nuanced. Healthy INFJs have a radar for when giving will help and when it will create dependence. They know how to love with boundaries, comfort without rescuing, advise without owning outcomes, encourage without enabling. This gift protects both sides. The hard part is tolerating the temporary discomfort when someone wants you to overgive. Remember, saying no to what isn't yours is saying yes to what is. Gift number 9. Calm at the center of the storm. Crises expose character. In chaos, INFJs often get still. They label the emotions in the room, separate signal from noise, and anchor everyone to what's next. They aren't loud about it, they just start doing the right small thing, and people follow. If you're an INFJ, though, check on yourself after the crisis passes. Adrenaline can hide your own needs. When it's over, don't sprint into the next problem. Drink water. Feel your legs. Call the friend who asks about you. Gift number 10. Gentle persuasion that sticks. There's a reason INFJ suggestions land even when they're whispered. Trust travels through consistency. Because INFJs listen deeply and speak carefully, their words arrive with weight. They don't try to win you over, they help you win yourself over. That's real influence. Guard it. If you're tired or resentful, your influence can curdle into quiet manipulation, nudging instead of inviting. The fix is rest and honesty. Say, "I'm not clear enough to advise right now." That sentence protects your integrity and your gift. Gift number 11. The integrity compass. INFJs care about the through line. Does the inside match the outside? They feel when something is off long before there's evidence on paper. It could be a brand that says, "People first," while grinding its team, or a friend who laughs too loudly when a cruel joke lands. INFJs don't always call it out in the moment, but internally, decisions get made. distance increases. Trust recalibrates. If you're an INFJ, honor this compass openly. Name your values out loud, not to preach, but to set expectations. The people meant for you will lean in. Gift number 12. Stewardship of the long game. While many chase quick wins, INFJs plant orchards. They invest in people over years, sometimes decades, with steady check-ins and quiet advocacy. They remember where you wanted to go and send you the opportunity when it finally appears. Their love language is long-term consistency. The danger is staying in dead soil too long out of loyalty. If you're an INFJ, make a habit of asking, "Is this still growing?" If the answer is no over and over, you're not abandoning a garden, you're making room for spring somewhere else. Let's stitch these together. When you combine the silent pattern engine with future sketching, you get foresight that feels like intuition and looks like luck. When you add emotional echolocation and making people feel seen, people experience safety they didn't realize they were missing. Teaching by story amplifies gentle persuasion, and the integrity compass ensures your influence aligns with your values, not just your goals. Pain alchemy gives your wisdom depth. Calm in the storm gives your leadership credibility. Compassionate distance keeps you from burning out. And stewardship of the long game builds a life that's rich, not noisy, slow, but significant. Now, a word about cost. These gifts are beautiful, but they pull energy from a deep well. If you're an INFJ, your well is precious. You need inputs that match your output. Solitude is not a luxury, it's maintenance. Creative play is not a distraction, it's refueling. Honest friendships are not optional, they're guardrails. And yes, boundaries are love for yourself and for the people you serve, because a present, rested you is worth 10 exhausted versions. Here's a quick practice set to help you use these gifts without draining them dry. Name the pattern. When your brain connects dots, write a one-sentence summary. If we do X, Y will happen because Z. Seeing it in words helps you decide whether to act or wait. Two-story rule. When giving advice, offer 2 stories, not 10. Choose clarity over volume. Daily release. End each day by listing emotions you absorbed that aren't yours. Release them with a breath, a prayer, or a page. Good enough clause. When reality doesn't match your mental movie, ask, is this good enough for joy? If yes, celebrate now, polish later. Growth by delight. Create without pain. Write something silly. Paint badly. Play a song you'll never show anyone. Strength can grow from delight. Reciprocity check. Make sure at least one person in your life reflects you back with the same depth you offer others. If not, seek that connection intentionally. And a reminder for the rest of us, INFJ gifts aren't party tricks to be consumed. They're sacred tools. If you have an INFJ in your life, don't only go to them when things fall apart. Invite them when things are good. Ask for their dreams, not just their counsel. Share your own. Respect their boundaries. Celebrate their wins loudly, because they usually won't. To the INFJs watching, you are not too much for noticing what others miss, and you're not enough for preferring depth over noise. Your quiet is not a lack, it's a craft. You were not built to be everywhere. You were built to be exactly where it matters. These 12 gifts aren't goals to chase. They're truths to recognize, refine, and protect. Before we wrap, I want to leave you with a question only you can answer. Which of these gifts wants more room in your life this season? Not all 12 at once, just one. Choose it. Name one habit that would support it. Then begin, gently. The world doesn't need a louder you. It needs a truer you. If this resonated with you, drop a comment telling us which gift you recognized most. Was it the pattern engine? The story teaching? The calm and chaos? Share your moment. And if you love videos that go beneath the surface, hit like so more INFJs find this. Subscribe for deeper dives into personality and psychology. And share this with the person who always seems to understand you before you speak. Stay grounded, stay kind, and remember, the light you keep inside isn't small, it's focused. And focused light can move mountains.